The United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organisation, UNESCO, lists the places in the world that have outstanding and universal value, natural or cultural. It's called the World Heritage List. The Tasmanian Wilderness World Heritage Area is one of only a few places that meet 7 of the 10 criteria set by UNESCO. It's one of the last true wilderness regions on Earth, recognised as the heritage of our world community. This stunning wilderness is far from a major population centre, but that is no protection from pollution. It's carried from near and far on the waves of the Southern Ocean.
So plastics pollution is really a global phenomenon. The oceans really are one uniting structure. We like to give them names like the North Atlantic Ocean, but the reality of the situation is they don't have boundaries, and so one person's rubbish in one part of the world ends up very easily on another person's beach. A lot of marine wildlife, everything from seabirds to sharks and turtles, is interacting with this plastic.
Basically, the species forages by picking up a lot of scraps off the surface of the ocean, particularly, dead bits of squid, and they can't distinguish the plastic pieces from natural prey items. I'm going to guess the final tally is probably well over 100 pieces of plastic in this one bird.
Historically, we've always thought that the Southern Ocean is not likely to have a lot of marine debris just because it's quite isolated. And so we've never really had a good chance to look at how much marine plastic is being consumed by species in the Southern Ocean.
We go to an area of the coast that a lot of people who have come on the trip have never been to. There's no walking tracks in there, there's no road access obviously. You can go by helicopter or boat, that's pretty much your only option. We go to those places because people don't walk the beaches. What's washed up stays there basically. Well, if you walk, say 20 metres, is to turn around and look behind you, because you'll quite often, just the way the sand... The most efficient way to get the rubbish off is maximum amount of people on the beach. Pick it all up with the sweep of the beach, try and cover the beach with footprints, and then come back at night time and count it. The rubbish, it comes from far and wide. We reckon the commercial fishing industry, international commercial fishing industry, probably accounts for most of it. A lot of the big trawl nets and pieces of rope and long pieces of rope by volume, that's coming from international waters. We acknowledge we're not going to pick up every item of rubbish. There's probably 3 tonnes of rubbish buried underneath the sand at each beach. But going back there and picking up what's exposed gives us a baseline as to what's washing up, how it's changing through time, and try and identify sources of the rubbish that we can change.
I was really keen to come on this trip and to have a look firsthand at how much marine debris is washing up on the beaches in Tasmania. I was particularly surprised about the quite large numbers of very small plastics, broken up plastics that have been affected by sunlight and are potentially small enough for many marine species to consume.
The bigger items, the ropes and the nets, they can entangle marine mammals. The small pieces of plastic, which we find a lot of, are quite commonly ingested by seabirds.
This is definitely the dirtiest beach I've ever seen out of all the 4 trips I've done.
goes.
It's very impressive.
Yeah, it's like we just saved a whale or something.
The trip is funded primarily by the generosity of the fishermen. Without them, we couldn't do it. Dave's widely respected as one of the pioneers of surfing in southwest Tasmania. You need 20 plus years of experience in a dinghy to be able to get in and out of the breaks. He knows the waves and he knows how to land on the beaches. Without Dave, the trip just wouldn't happen.
To get the chance to come down was, incredible, and the experience has been amazing. When I was very young, I used to look down at the Southwest National Park and I was always intrigued by what was down there and the isolation and the wild nature of the place.
I'm sailing around the world since the last couple of years. I'm working for Greenpeace on their ships. I'm also working on traditional tall ships. So I've seen a lot of beauty out there. I've also seen a lot of ugly things. There are some really big issues that we need to get fixed. But there's one thing about keeping the ecological footprint to a minimum that everybody can do. And that means not dumping our garbage out there, because it's all going to get washed back to our shores.
It's amazing what they've done with the Southwest Marine Debris Cleanup, and the fact that we now have 10 or 11 years worth of data. As scientists, we don't have arms and legs and we don't have eyes and ears all over the place. We really need the help and assistance of these amazing community groups to go out there so that we can then do the statistics and do all the really technical stuff and look at the trends over time and make some kind of informed decision about where we go from here.
There's a line here in Tassie that they use, which is stow it, don't throw it. It only takes a few poorly educated or lazy people to throw stuff over the side, and over the period of a year they can probably account for a quarter of the rubbish on a beach.